good evening, everyone. It's Tuesday evening. It's weather for Weather Geeks time. It's kind of what I call a nickel and dime pattern this week, with the valley just kind of getting grazed by some minor systems. Perhaps a little more of a substantial system for the weekend, which we'll talk about in this video, and we'll talk about the trends as we go into next week as well. I wanted to start out this evening with a quick look at the snow depth across our region, and you know, on the weather maps, last night's system did not look like anything all that impressive, but this was a pretty good stripe of snow from Cincinnati to the southern suburbs of Columbus, heading over towards Zanesville, Cambridge, Wheeling, Steubenville, the Pittsburgh area, and we just kind of got grazed by it, and it was enough to cause some travel difficulties this morning and some school adjustments in parts of the region, but we did not see the heftier amounts that they saw off to our south and southwest. Some of the northern suburbs of Cincinnati, 7-8 inches. 5 or 6 inches, southern suburbs of Columbus, and as nearby as the Wheeling and Steubenville area, several inches worth of snow. Where around here, it was mostly an inch or 2.5 in some spots, 1.6 the official tally at the airport, bringing our monthly total to 4.9. Not much of a diurnal range today, temperature-wise, 21 this morning, and then only 25 this afternoon. That's one of our colder February record lows. That's 16 below. Back in February of 1934. All right, snow reports, again, from areas just off to our south were pretty impressive. I'm going to just query a few of these. Down just south of Columbiana County towards the Wintersville area, 3.7. Weirton, about 4. Heading down towards Cambridge, 3, 4 inches, 6 inches, pretty common. And again, amounts were even more impressive back towards central and southwest Ohio. That light snow that we had kind of lingering through early afternoon, kind of looked like a snow globe out there. That faded away, and we're just left with clouds for this evening. All right, the Arctic air continues to pile on across the middle of the country. And, you know, last evening on Weather Geeks, I showed you the big temperature difference between Dallas and Oklahoma City. Well, the cold air has gotten into the Big D, and it's just getting into Austin. But Baton Rouge, Louisiana is still 75 this evening. You know, in the lower latitudes, the Arctic air gets very shallow as it gets that far to the south. So typically these Arctic fronts run out of steam to some extent as they get down into the southern U.S. We're never going to really get into the heart of the Arctic air mass. We're not going to see a day where the high stays in the single digits and things like that. We'll be just kind of on the periphery of the Arctic air mass over the next several days. Cold forecast, but yeah, it could be a lot worse. All right, as we go into the day on Wednesday, another weak weather disturbance will be approaching from the west. I think some flurries could try to break out in the afternoon. You don't see it really here on our model, but I wouldn't be surprised if we had some snowflakes here and there in the afternoon. Then we can get grazed by some light snow again tomorrow night. Again, our model is not as far north as maybe it probably should be. I think that some light snow can try to get up to at least 224 late tomorrow evening into the overnight, and much like last night's system, best chance of seeing enough snow to be impactful will be kind of in our southern viewing area. Here's a look at the computer model spread for southern Trumbull County, Mahoning County. And again, we're going to focus on Wednesday night. Everything's under an inch. Once you get up into kind of the heart of our viewing area. Down towards East Liverpool, you notice the lines get up closer to an inch. I think an inch to an inch and a half will be a possibility down towards the Ohio River with our Wednesday night system. So an inch or two, the most likely accumulation for, I would say in most areas south of 224. I doubt a whole lot of places try to get 2 inches north of 224. It's probably more like a half an inch to an inch, maybe an inch and a half. In a lot of, the Youngstown area, Warren, Niles, over towards Sharon, and points off to the north. The absolute most I could see anyone in our TV viewing area getting would be 3. That's really even pushing it. So again, with the timing of this, there can be some impacts, even though amounts are going to be quite modest. It's coming at night, and temperatures will be on the cold side, so every flake can stick. All right, once again, we kind of get grazed Thursday night into Friday. Again, our in-house model here is a little unimpressive with this. I think the blue should be a little farther north here at 11:30 p.m. Thursday evening with some light snow grazing us, probably lasting into Friday morning. Again, even though our in-house model here kind of shoves it away pretty fast, I could see where some snowflakes try to linger into Friday morning. Once again, I think accumulations with this will be pretty modest, but it's coming at night. And so again, a couple of inches maybe just enough to cause some travel headaches. All right, let's switch sources here and head over and talk about the weekend. And I'm going to show you a few different models here. You may have heard on, Jim Bob's basement weather page about a big snow and ice storm or something like that across the Ohio Valley this weekend. I don't think there's going to be a big snowstorm this weekend. But what I do think is that it bears watching. What we're going to have over the weekend is probably a better chance of something a little more impactful than these kind of nickel and dime systems during the week. So I'm going to fast forward here to Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening. This is the European model. Taken literally, the European would suggest that might be some sort of frozen shenanigans, Pittsburgh south and east, and probably not around here. In fact, the European's pretty unimpressive as far as the snow goes around here. Here's a look at the European Ensemble snow forecast for this Saturday night system. Even the Ensemble modeling here is pretty unimpressive. So this is what we call the operational run, and then this is kind of 51 different flavors of the European model, and this is the average of all 51 of those runs. And all of these numbers are, again, pretty modest. I mean, maybe an inch or two, maybe 3, something like that. And again, the timing on this would be probably Saturday afternoon into Saturday night. Now, the GFS is quite a bit stronger with this area of low pressure and also quite a bit farther to the west. So far to the west that it drags in mixed precipitation potential into eastern Ohio, western PA, and has a pretty good stripe of snow somewhere across the region. Notice those darker blues here, late Saturday night, Sunday morning. That GFS, though, is kind of an outlier. So taken literally, it's ensembles. Again, kind of a blend, and then you take the average of all those runs of the GFS. It would suggest maybe 3 inches plus would be a possibility. That's kind of an outlier, though. Here's the Canadian model, a little more like the European, with a weaker, flatter wave, and therefore the mixed precipitation potential's well south and east. You don't see much of a stripe of heavier snow around here. Again, maybe it's a couple of inches. So, all of this being said, we're going to keep an eye on the weekend system. I think there's the potential for accumulating snow Saturday afternoon into Saturday night. At this point, I don't think odds favor it being some sort of big-ticket, blockbuster kind of a thing. But there'll be a lot of people out and about Saturday evening, even though, we're still in pandemic times. There will be people who will be going out for Valentine's Day weekend, Saturday evening. And so it definitely bears watching. There could be some road impacts. All right, as far as the temperatures over the next couple of weeks, it's, as I mentioned earlier in the video, we're never going to get into the heart of the Arctic air. So a couple of real cold days, yeah, sure. Valentine's Day into Monday. Maybe these numbers are even a little too warm. I've got a high of 19 in the forecast for Monday. And maybe we get below 0 here and there Sunday night into Monday morning, but the numbers around here just aren't going to be as impressive as west of the Great Lakes. And then a lot of the modeling is showing a modest, keep your expectations in check, modest warming trend as we head into the last kind of 10 days of February. So these numbers are a little hard to read, but right here's February 20th. And so during that final 10 days, I'll probably get above freezing. Doesn't that sound nice? And maybe even 40 or so. I would keep my expectations in check. I don't see any sort of blowtorch pattern coming. I don't see any sort of 50s and 60s coming at this stage of the game. But it looks like the cold will ease once we get done with kind of the heart of this early on next week. All right, that'll do it for me tonight. Thanks for watching Weather for Weather Geeks. I'll see you back here on Wednesday.